Hello Year 6 and welcome to Monday's maths lesson. Hope that you've had a lovely weekend. I was really impressed with Friday's work. I know it was quite a challenge. There was lots to take in, lots of new learning, and you rose to the challenge really well. I was really impressed with the work that came in. I know how hard you tried with it, so a big well done. So today we are carrying on with shape and movement and all those kind of things. So to get us warmed up and get our brains warmed up this Monday, I have got a game for you. I will send this link on Marvellous Me. When you open it, it'll come up with this, show the coordinate. Okay, and you click on that, click on the arrow. Then you'll get three options here. So you need to click on the one that's like a cross because I want you to do all four quadrants. And then you've got this. Once you have got this, it asks you to click on these coordinates. So this one is 1, 5. Now remember, I think this confused a few people last week. You go across and then up or down. So you go left or right first and then up or down. Okay, so I've got to go along 1 first and then up 5. And that's given me a star because I've got it right. Okay, then the next one, I've got to go, I've got not much time, along 5 and down -5. Got another one right, along nothing, so I've not got to move at all, and then up 5. Along -4, then up 2. Along -5, then up none, so I stay on the line. Along 4 and up 3. Along -4, down -5. Along -1, down -1. Along 5 and up 3. Along 3 and down -2. Along 2, down -5. And I've got all of those stars there, okay? So have a couple of games on that to get your mind into coordinates again before we get started, okay? So you might want to pause the video now and have a little go of those. Okay, so you're learning then for today. Okay, so it's reflecting shapes today. Okay, so we are reflecting and it is page 37 in your Year 6 book. So it's your Year 6 workout book and it's page 37, one that looks like this. I will show you under the visualizer so you know you are on the right page. So it's page 37, this one. Okay, so we're talking about reflection today in an axis. So that's what your first section is today. You've got to reflect each shape in the x-axis, okay? So the x-axis is this one here, the one that runs along that way. That one's the y, so you're reflecting it across. Okay, when you've reflected it, you've got to write the coordinates. So I'm going to go through a couple to show you what to do. Okay, so when you are reflecting, so here's my shape that I'm going to reflect. Make it a little bit smaller. So here's my shape that I'm going to reflect. Now, you need to make sure, so it's imagining that there's a mirror there. If you've got a mirror at home, it might help you to just have it in place just to check afterwards that you've reflected it in the right place. If you haven't got a mirror, you don't need one. It just might help you to visualise where it's going to be when you've reflected it. So it's across the x-axis, which is this one. So the one that runs this way is the x-axis. And we're going to reflect this. Now, like I say, you don't need a mirror because you can just count. So choose a point to start with. So I'm going to start with this point. Now I know that that's 2 away from the line. Okay, so it's 1, 2 away from the line. So when I reflect it over here, I've got to count 2 away from the line. So 1, 2. So my point will be there because that's 1, 2 away. So this one's got to be 1, 2 away. So I'm going to go to this point now. So again, that's 2 away. So I've got to go 1, 2. So there's my next point. This one then is 1, 2, 3 away from the x-axis. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now this one then here is 1, 2, 3, 4 away. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then this one then, I've already done. No, I haven't. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It might be a good idea. See, I got a little bit confused then to tick off the ones that you have already done. So I've only got this point in the middle now, so that's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, once I've got all my dots, I need to join them together. Okay, so I'm going to not use a ruler because I want it to be in red. So if you've got a ruler, make sure you use one. I've changed my line to red now. If you haven't got a ruler, you can use the side of one of your books. Try and make it straight because otherwise it's not accurate. So join them together. So join all those points together you have just done to make the shape. So this is important to join them together because you need to make sure that it looks like the shape that it started. And you can see that mine looks exactly the same. It's just in a different position. Okay, so start with one point and then you make sure you're counting away from the x-axis. Now the second step then, once you've reflected the shape, is to put the coordinates in. So remember, we go along the corridor, either way, left or right, and then either up or down the stairs. So if I'm starting on this point here, I go along to -1, that's my first one, and then down to -3. So I've gone along to -1, down to -3. I'm just going to tick it off so I don't forget. So I've done that one. I'm going to do that one next. So along to -2, down to -2. So they are both -2. So I've done that one. I'll do another one with you. So along to -3, down to -2. So along to -3, down to -2. Okay, so your first section is just like this. You reflect the shape first and then do the coordinates. I'm going to do another reflection with you to help to make sure that you are absolutely sure how to do it. Okay, so this time I'm going over the y-axis. Okay, so I'm going to be counting over this line. Okay, so get a colour that you can see. Okay, so remember it's all about counting. So here, so it's 1, 2 away from the line. So I'm doing that one first, so I've got to go 1, 2. There's my first point. So this one is 1, 2, 3 away from the line. So 1, 2, 3. I've done that one. This one here is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done that one, and my last one is 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. And then remember, it's really important to join them so that you know that you've got the exact same shape. So join them together and you can see that I have made the exact same shape. And then my second step is to write the coordinates of each of my new points. Okay, so I'll start with this one. So I go along first. Remember with coordinates, we go along first. So along to -3 and then up to 5. So my first one is -3, 5. So I've done that one. My second one, along first to -2, up to 3. Okay, and then you do that with all of your points. So your first section is, apart from your shapes, a little bit more complicated than mine, is to reflect over the axes. Okay, so count, make sure you're using counting. So this one, look, is 1 away. So when you come down here, it's 1 away. Just be careful that you don't get confused with these ones, because that one there is 1 away. And remember, the numbers are in this first box, so it's 1 away. It would be there. That's 1 away. And then this one is only 1 away, so count down 1 line, which is there. And so be really careful. And then when you've put all of your points on, you've got to write the coordinates for each point. Tick them off so you don't forget. Make sure you've done them all. So once you've done that, you've got a little challenge at the bottom. And I'm going to go through some questions really similar to the challenge questions that you have got. So this one is using some skills that we have done throughout the last few days of work. Okay, so you've got a really similar to what you've got in your book. You've got 4 quadrants like this, and that's my shape A. And then you've got some questions. So I've got to reflect shape A in the y-axis. Okay, and then I've got to draw its new position and label it B. So I've got to reflect it in the y-axis. Now remember, this is the x-axis, this is the y. So I've got to go over this one. Okay, so I'm going to do my shape first. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've done that one. This one is 5, 6, 7, 8. There. And this one's there. And this one's there. So because it's a square, I can do it really easily. So I've got to label this one B. So there's my square. So this one is B. So that's my first step. Let's just check. So I've got to, oops, gone too far. I've got to reflect it in the y-axis and draw its new shape and label it B. So I've done that one. So shape B is then translated. So remember we did that last week. Down to left 3. So I've got to draw its new position again and label it C. Okay, so let's go back. So I can't remember what I've got to translate. Down to left 3. So down 2 and left 3. Okay, so down 2, so 1, 2, and left 3. 1, 2, 3. So that was that one. Okay, so then this one down 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And this one down 2, 1, 2, and then left 3. 1, 2, 3. And this one down 2, 1, 2, and left 3. 3. So there's my new shape, and I've got to label that one C. I've got to join them together. I need to choose a different colour so I don't get confused. So there it is. And I've got to label that one C. Okay, so I've done that next step. So translation was what we did last week. So then the last one is, what translation could you do to move shape A to shape C? So I've got to move the position of shape A to shape C. So the way to do this is choose a point on shape A. So I've chosen that point, and choose the same point on shape C and see how many along and how many down. So I'm going right. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 right. And then, so I've got to there, 10 right and 1, 2 down. Okay, so the last one asks you what the translation to move A to C. So the way to do that, choose a point on shape A, choose the same point on shape C, and then count for your translation. How many either left or right, and then how many up or down. So those questions are really similar to your last section on page 37. Okay, I know we haven't done much shape at all in class, so you're doing a really great job, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of your work from today.